Welcome, everyone. We have the latest release of the Super 7 Reaction Plus G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. So, in Wave 1, we got comic book inspired Snake Eyes, we got Cover Girl, we got cartoon inspired Bat, and then we got a Cobra Commander. And I believe Cobra Commander was meant to be cartoon inspired. So in our new release, we've got a cartoon inspired Duke, and we've got Serpentor. We should expect more figures coming for the line, and there's also a new companion line for Micronauts that I will review once it's released. So going over the packaging, we've got the same packaging from the first release, and I would say even so much as the 5 POA release that was a Target exclusive for many years. Basically, this replicates the original Hasbro packaging, and it looks really nice. Like, it's very crisp, and I'm sure they've gone and I'm imagining they had access to the original artwork and maybe touched it up. There might be some interviews out there where they talk about how they've done it, but in person, these are very nice and crisp. The cardboard is nice. It feels like the original release. In fact, it possibly could be maybe a tiny bit heavier than the original release from the 80s. On the back, there is a call out to the other figures. We also got a Tomod and Tomax from, I guess we'll call that Wave 1. And then we have some other figures. These are like, we'll call them deluxe. They're a little bit larger than the standard human figures. The Fatal Fluffy and Ramar, and they're both characters from the cartoon. And then here we have Serpentor. He's got a ID card on the back, just like Duke had. And these are pretty nice. And if you're a mint on card collector, you order these from Super 7, they will be unpunched. I don't know if these are going to be sold in Target, but you know, if they're sold in Target, they're going to punch these and they're going to probably be in bad shape. So if you care, I would say order these from online retailers because they'll take care of them. So that's the packaging. Pretty straightforward and simple. Let's get them out of their package. So here they are out of the package, and these figures are pretty straightforward. They have the exact same engineering as original figures. Maybe there's some differences in how the rivets and pins are structured. I've not seen a vintage Serpentor. I've seen in person. I've seen pictures of him, but one thing to note is this cape is kind of like it's cloth. It's a very rigid cloth. It's hard to describe, but it's not soft. It's almost paper-like, but it does have a really nice sheen to it. I'm sure that's why they picked this, because it kind of has a metallic look to it. It may be hard to see that on camera, but it does have a nice shine to it. The inside is a different texture, kind of more flat texture. The painting is pretty crisp. It's not too much slop, so they did a good job on painting the figure. Some imperfections here and there that you're just going to have no matter what But like on this hand, he's got, you know, red on these eyes, you know, to simulate this being like a cobra on his hand. That's pretty cool. And let's see if I can get this cape out of the way a little bit without messing it up. Here's the back of the figure, just to see that. Now, I have had some vintage G.I. Joe figures, and they tend to be kind of mixed as far as, you know, the joint quality. These are pretty nice. Like the joints are nice and stiff. They stand pretty well. They can hold their weapons. As you see, Serpentor's got his dagger. And next we got Duke. Again, looking very crisp. I think I like the head sculpt better on this one versus the 5PA that they came out with. I'll compare him in a moment with that. I feel like this is one of the areas where some of these companies get the vintage figures wrong. Sometimes they make the heads too large, mainly too long, like they're like unusually long, and they just kind of look odd. And getting the proportions of the head correctly that's the thing. You know, you don't want these things to be ugly, but they're not supposed to be, you know, extremely humanoid looking. Like their proportions are kind of shortened. They're a little unrealistic. But he does look pretty good. He's got some extra paint on his boots. And there's the back. There's even some paint on the buckle on his bandolier. So, you know, they've done enough to, you know, make him better than, you know, just some kind of basic random figure. So let's see. Yep, he holds his gun pretty well. And then he's got, I think this is the collar. When there's an episode in the cartoon where he's like a prisoner and he's got this control collar on. Does that mean his head pops off? It does not seem like his head pops off. Maybe this is not supposed to be a collar. It fits his head like in a bandana form perfectly. Like look at that. It's shaped perfectly like it. The package does call the accessory a mind control headband. I guess I'm misremembering the episode. So this is a headband, and it looks good. And there's even, maybe hard to see, like if I get this up too close, it's gonna go out of focus, but there is barely like some detail on the front, like some circuitry and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And I think it's just from the same episode that the fluffy monster creatures come from. Let me know in the comments if that's not true. I've got fuzzy memories of G.I. Joe. I didn't watch G.I. Joe too much. Watched almost all of Transformers G1, but not G.I. Joe. Okay, so let's do some comparisons. And I don't have a Serpentor. I don't believe there was a Super 7 5 POA. I think I purchased most of those, and I don't remember there being a Serpentor. But here is the Duke, and the colors are ever just a little different. Like the sculpt's just a teeny bit different. The colors are a teeny bit different. Like you'll notice on the basic version, that badge on his chest is much more detailed. It's got some black line work on it. And yeah, the ReAction Plus, the eyes are just black, kind of like your basic G.I. Joe figure, Star Wars figure. On the 5 POA, he does have blue eyes. He's got white pupils in the back. He's got a black eyeliner on the top. So just very different between these two. So it does seem like they mean for this to be a vintage figure with, a different color scheme, and yet they meant this one to be a better homage to the cartoon. I don't know. That's what it seems like. I was curious, like, how different these guys were going to be, and I'm surprised, like, just how different they are. They're not the same figure, and they don't have the same complete representation. So that's interesting. So let me get these guys a little bit closer. I'm going to show them off with the figures from the first release. And I do feel like this Snake Eyes, his head may be a little bit too large. I don't know. Like, compared to that Duke, I think they got this Duke perfect. But even like between Duke and CoverGirl, I think CoverGirl's head is too large. So just something to note. And then we've got the Cobra Commander from that wave. And we've got the Bat. Just stick him over here from that wave. He doesn't want to stand up because his backpack is heavy. There we go. So I think this is a good release. I think if you're definitely a diehard G.I. Joe fan and appreciate the vintage stuff, you'll enjoy these. If not, this may not be your cup of tea. But if you like vintage figures in general, this is a good way to get a vintage style figure and not, hunt down one in nice condition that costs like $100. And then another good reason to pick these up, if you are into the G.I. Joe versus Transformer crossover stuff, these figures scale with it because they use those vintage style figures with those. So this is a good reason to build these figures up to go along with that collection. So a couple different ways to think about, collecting these, displaying these, and kind of working them into your display. So let me know what you think. Are you collecting these? Are you not collecting these? What do you think about the differences between these and the original run of the 5 POA? And if Super 7 should keep cranking these out, should they go a different direction with them as far as like the character choice or the styling choice? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe, and please tune in to more videos coming up. Thank you.